Charmaine, WIllier, Larsen. My business is Bannock and Bed Inn and Venue. We're here on the Sucker Creek First Nation in Treaty 8 territory.
So tell me, Charmaine, the inspiration that you got to create a bed and breakfast with teepees, where did that come from?
I think it came from, first of all, the inspiration was an aunt of mine that had a B&B back when I was young in Osoyoos. And then the teepees just became an inspiration from, and having a teepee village. I wanted to do had the idea to do some sort of a teepee village with the First Nation that I was on council for a few years back. And I had a vision to do a bigger teepee village. I had the vision to do a B&B here. And then I just brought that idea with me and did it on a smaller scale here on my property.
And the kinds of people that you host here, you've only been open for a couple of weeks. Your grand opening basically was on the 30th of June. And since then, you've been busting at the seams, busy.
Yeah, we've
Tell
been
me a
very
little
busy.
bit about some of the people that you've already served here and what their reaction has been to sleeping in a teepee.
It's been great. It's been, I didn't think it was going to be as successful as it's been, but it seems like everybody wants to sleep in a teepee and have that experience. So my phone has been blowing up, and for the last 2 weeks, for the last week, with more people sharing on Facebook, it's blowing up. Everybody wants the experience.
We had
amazing.
spoken earlier about how you thought nobody would want to come on a reserve to do anything because you thought, reserves have a bad reputation.
Yes, yeah.
What's your take on that now, and how has your vision changed with regards to how many people are coming?
Well, when I first had this idea, I was like, at first I thought, well, the whole B&B concept was like, why would anybody want to come and stay on a reserve? Who is going to pay? And I think I even had that question presented to me a couple times a few years ago. Is like, geez, I really hope you do good, without saying nobody's going to come here. But that was I was a little bit worried, and I wondered why I was building this because of my location. But then it was like, the more I hear of people wanting the Indigenous culture and learning about it, that it was like, it just seemed to be, this is the direction, this is my vision, this is what I see on the property, and I just went with it and didn't question it.
The other thing that makes this property so unique is that the teepees people stay in, you actually build.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come to be that you became a teepee builder?
A teepee maker. I'm an official teepee maker. Apparently, if you make 4 teepees, you are considered an official teepee maker. So I'm at 6 teepees now, 6 18-foot teepees, and they're beautiful. They're just made perfect because I'm a little OCD, so everything that's sewing is just perfect. So I think I'm pretty proud of my teepees. But that idea came along because I found out how much teepees were worth, and I'm like, So I gave the contract to a lady and to do the teepees. Then I ended up having to sew them because she got me to do most of the sewing. And and I'm like, I love making teepees. I think it's great. It's a great thing to do.
Well, and you have the space to do it because you have a wonderful workshop, so you have lots of space to be able to spread the fabric out. Tell us about raising the 30-foot community teepee and how that went, because I watched the photos on Facebook and I was amazed at the amount of work that went into raising that. There were how many people?
There was 6 of us, 5 or 6 of us, and it was I was very anxious. I was like sick because I had so much anxiety because I was like, oh my God, I've never put anything this big up. Nobody has seen this size of a teepee up in this area. So it's a showstopper. When people drive by, they're like, wow, that's huge. And it doesn't look as big. We look at it on the outside, but you get inside, it's huge. It took 5 or 6 of us like 5 hours to put it up. And
How many poles?
there's 15 poles, 13 and 15. So it's the same as the other teepees, but these ones are 35 feet in length. We could have went 40, but it was like, no, we had a hard time finding 35-foot poles. It's a chore.
That teepee, when you had your community gathering on the 30th to introduce everybody to your B&B in the region, was not just a tourism meeting where you asked all of these different providers in the area to, how can we partner? How can we build business in this area together? And so you had approximately 40 people inside that teepee, all sharing stories, all learning and talking to each other. And that teepee was not crowded.
No, it fits 16 people comfortably on the love seats and the chairs. There's enough seating. And then there was other chairs that were brought in, another 10 chairs. So we did have a bit of a ceremony, a blessing ceremony. I've got my brother and his wife to come and do their ceremony, and we sat in there. We had our smudging, and we had some talk and some prayers, and the lady that made the teepee, that I commissioned to make the teepee, Ecte Cardinal, she came and blessed us with some prayers, and there's still more space.
So besides the other teachings that you can offer, what all amenities do you have on the property? How many teepees, how many cabins, how many people can you sleep here?
We have the rooms inside is what I first started with, the 2 queen rooms, queen beds, and then we have a double bed, a smaller room, and the 2 beds are on Airbnb, the 2 rooms, and then we have the traditional teepee, which is a fire and the teepee. You can find us all on Airbnb also, and on the Facebook page. So there's the traditional teepee with a fire. So that's what we started with last year. And so this year we've added 3 more teepees, glamping teepees. They've got the nice beds in them. One's got a queen bed. The other 2 have the 2 single beds. And for the chilly nights, we have a little bit of a heater in there, which apparently it's too warm. So they're working well. And then we added the 30-foot teepee also came with the 3 glamping teepees for the addition this year. The cabin was also done and completed this spring. One of the 2 cabins are for rent also. So altogether we can sleep 2 in the traditional, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 people. We have 13 beds. Actually, we have 12 beds, and we can sleep 15 people because there's 3 queen beds. Yeah.
And you get to treat people as a bed and breakfast. They can have a nice continental breakfast in the morning and coffee and tea and all of those other little amenities.
Yes.
But also, you do entertain special requests for things like Indigenous cuisine, like Indian tacos. So people can actually expand what they get from you simply by asking if you can make bannock or something like that.
Yes. So I usually always make bannock, and it's either raisin bannock in the oven for toast in the morning. That's always nice to have. And then I also make cheese bannock for dinners, or with chunks of cheese in the bannock, and it's very delicious. And then the fried bannock, like last night we had, because we had a group in, and I made Indian tacos for supper last night. So that's the bannock fried in the oil. So something we borrowed from the Scottish when they came to Canada. And it's great. So people think that bannock is from us Indigenous, but it's not. We borrowed it from our friends, the Scots. Thank you.
So what is one thing that you would love people to know about your property? I mean, you have this house that's almost like a living museum. You have 14 acres of gorgeous land, beautiful groomed grounds. What do you want them to know about coming here, and what it is you're hoping to have them leave with?
I think what I would like everybody to leave with and get when they're here is just a peaceful, good night's sleep. I feel that, I think, and I hear that there's a lot of people that don't sleep well. So when you do come and you sleep here, it's because of the energy here. Everybody gets at least a good night's sleep, or their energy level just kind of mellows out. And we have a lot of different spaces in and around, and everything is kind of on a low key, no electric energy, no loudness, so you just feel calm. And that's what I want people to do, is just to sit back and enjoy the calmness and the good night's sleep and the good energy, and just have some quality time here.
The other thing that I feel is that one of the missions that's important to you is also teaching people about your culture, so that when they leave here, they come away feeling like they understand more than they did when they came.
Yes, it's the purpose also is to, and it's evolving into this, is teaching and sharing my culture with people that come, and to show them the beauty of our Indigenous culture and the history and the rich history that we have. Like the pictures on the wall that I'm starting of the history wall, it's about my ancestors signing the Treaty 8 signing. It was 2 or 3 kilometers straight north of here. And we have one of the biggest territories, the Treaty 8 territories, the biggest in Canada. And my family was part of that. And I'm just a rock's throw away from it. So it's amazing to be so close to something like that that's happened 124 years ago. Next year it'll be 125. And my family was part of that history. So it's rich in history, it's rich in culture, it's rich in spirituality. And I want to share that with people. And I also want to share it with non-Indigenous, and I want to share it within the Indigenous people to show them their history.
I think that was one of the things that inspired me the most about including this place on our tours and making sure that people knew about it, was the fact that so many Indigenous people don't know their own culture.
No. It was taken away from us.
Because of the residential schools, the 60s scoop, the Indian Act. I mean, there were just so many things that went against the Indigenous culture that now it's almost like it's gotten into a renaissance. Everybody is finally awakening and wanting to understand.
I think we're in a time in our world right now that the whole of Canada is awakening. I think the whole world is awakening because of the recent events that we've just come through. And I think everybody is more about quality instead of quantity. And the traditional values that we've lost because we've been going 100 miles an hour, I think everybody is coming back to that. And people are hungry for that, to have substance and quality time. And I think, and that's good. I think we needed to, and as crappy as it was this last few years, I think it just kind of gave people an awakening, and to realize that it's not all about money and fastness and shiny objects, and it's about family and quality time. And it's sad we went through that, but it's in the learning for everybody's well-being. I think it was good for us.